If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Pauly Howard. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Very busy 3-hour program lined up today. Pro sports bettor Erin Rynning on the NBA playoffs coming up in 30 minutes. Jeff Seeley, Best Bets PGA Tour this week. Jonathan Davis on the NHL. And the owner and CEO of this great property, Derek Stevens, in studio coming up a little bit later on. We will unpack what happened last night in the sports betting world, get into tonight's action, updated series prices, a Major League Baseball card with one game in action, and a bunch of player props a little bit later on as well. Now, I'm talking about just from a pure entertainment standpoint last night and drama. I think last night may have been the best night so far of the entire playoffs combined. With what we had and how they unfolded and how the Maple Leafs now, and that place was rocking and rolling all night last night, but the final couple minutes, it was your typical NHL playoff game. It was unbelievable adrenaline. And then what happened for both dogs to come back in the NBA and win like they did? I mean, I saw a chart, and I retweeted this last night right after the game. The win probability for OKC was teetering between like 70 and almost like 95% for almost the entire game. Agree or disagree with what kind of a model that was, but they completely gave that one away. More on that in a second. And I guess, I said this yesterday when Paul Bovey was in, right? He was making the case for the Knicks. I said, I think if the Celtics shoot 50-plus threes per game, in this series or beyond, that's when you're going to like the chances going against them, because they might have a game where they hit 25, but they might have 3 games where they hit 15 or 16. And that was just completely silly last night, what they did. Yep. And my gut tells me that they're going to watch the film of that game and say, okay, they're going to go down next time. We'll hit them, so we'll keep chucking threes.
Yeah, specifically what Tatum did or didn't do in the fourth quarter. That he scored 2 points, took 7 shots, and 6 of them were threes. Yeah. How many of them were just tight defense, a hand in his face, a guy all over him, and it's a step-back 3? It's like, that is a bad shot.
It's terrible basketball,
doing?
Paul.
But Celtic fans and guys who cover the league will tell you this. For a great team, they are the worst. Like, the worst position to be in is when they're up 20. They quit playing and they fall asleep. And it's happened over, and that's right too, over and over and over again. So the Knicks were 25-1 in play, as bad as Boston played, and they set the playoff record for missed threes. They still were up 20 in the third quarter, and you didn't have Porzingis in the second half, and it was just an implosion. I mean, just to fall asleep like that and to take that many threes. What was it? 34 of the first 40 shots coming out of the halftime were 3-pointers. I don't understand. I think it's poor coaching. I think what OKC was ridiculous as well, which I'll get to coming up. I don't understand it. Where if you're wide open, okay, but just don't. I mean, get to the basket, get to the rim. Cat's in foul trouble. I just think it's silly, settling, and dumb.
People can fall back on the whole analytical approach. Well, 3's better than 2. I don't care in this spot. It's terrible basketball.
They're not going in.
There's no way. Right. There's no. I don't even if they are, Paul. I'm just talking about in terms of watching the game and thinking that's a great style of basketball. Unless you have 5 Steph Currys, there isn't a single human being that can convince me that style of basketball last night is good basketball. It's not. It's stupid. And so more numbers here. Jason Timpf on X. So they generated. You can make the case for this continuing or maybe it flipping, and I'll do that right here. Jason Timpf on X. Boston generated 25 unguarded catch-and-shoot threes out of 60 attempts. They made 7. So they shot 7 of 32, 22%, when the closest defender was between 4 and 6 feet away. That's an open shot. They were 35% in the regular season. They shot 7 of 24, 29.5% on completely wide open threes last night. 41% in the regular season. But here's the problem with that in the rub. They took 35 contested and off-dribble threes last night in the game. Mm-hmm. That's to your point.
Yeah. And it's a tie game late, and they're still taking threes every trip down.
Every trip down.
And they're not open. A lot of those weren't open, and Tatum had made horrible decisions. So, Brian Mahoney, who's on tomorrow, was at the game for the Associated Press, and he said the Knicks better get this one. Boston will never shoot like this again, which he's probably right. But still, the other takeaway is Boston was killing them as bad as they shot from three. And then they Knicks made the big run at the end of the third quarter and what transpired. And it's just March Madness has now come to the NBA, where if you bet the dog in game one, your $100 money line parlay paid $8,500. It's crazy. And then you see OKC and Boston come right back 11-point favorites in game two.
How about that? The tax is already just completely juiced into this next game. They're going to bounce back.
Right.
It's been a thing so far in the playoffs. There's no way the home team is going to lose. Okay.
Well, Boston will, but OKC, if Joker is going to get the benefit of the call, he was in foul trouble, but if he's just going to come in and lower his shoulder and also just push everyone away with that off arm and get away with murder and just going to take you down low and go to work on you, it's going to be tough, because what if the others hit shots and they're going to be wide open?
So, we talked about this yesterday. Essentially, to me, in order for Denver to have a chance to win this series, they only play 6 guys, right? Like serious minutes. That's it. I said all 6 guys are going to have to play high-level basketball. Well, that was not the case last night. 5 did, but the 6th guy did not. Michael Porter was useless, and they still won the game. Mm-hmm. He played 24 minutes, scored 2 points. He was minus 15 in the plus-minus. Also, there is this for Denver. They had a 41.5% offensive rebounding rate. They killed the Thunder on the glass, 63-43. They had 18 turnovers. Oklahoma City had 9. Oklahoma City had 12 steals to 6 and 11 blocks to 5, and they lost the game. What was your biggest problem down the stretch?
Oh, God.
I know that it was the obvious answer is going to be what everybody's been saying since last night, and I disagree. I think there was something a little bit under the surface that really came back to bite him in the ass.
They're up 9 with 2:40, and SGA fouls Joker at the opponent's three-point line. Caruso also had a foul in the backcourt, right, which was silly. And then I don't understand that early fouling up 3 with 13 and 11 seconds left, one of which Joker was at the scorer's table. I agree with Kenny Smith. It puts added pressure on you, because then you have to make your free throws. You have to call timeouts. You have to get the ball inbounds. If you have the best defense in the league, if you get one stop, the game's over. I don't understand doing that, which I like to foul up 3 with 5, 6, 4 seconds left, not 13.
Right away, yeah. And by the way,
it was dumb, and then he misses both free throws.
Right,
and then he doesn't get back on defense, and Gordon hits the dagger.
Well, okay. So if they hit a 3, rather than OKC fouling, Joker still can't even get into the game because they have no timeouts. So it's going to be Oklahoma City ball, and the only way Joker gets back into the game is if they call timeout there. But what you said, Chet hits, here's a question. And to me, it's the most egregious thing that happened last night.
Why'd you give it to him?
How in the hell do they inbounds the basketball to Chet Holmgren?
Yeah.
You have the MVP sitting there all year long who's unbelievable. How do you not get SGA the ball on the inbounds play? And he absolutely has to go to the free throw line in that situation.
Yeah, I agree.
And you inbounds it to Chet. How is there no chatter telling the players, hey guys, remember, we got the best player, second best, whatever. He's going to be the MVP. SGA has to get the ball in his hands. Get it to him. Pretty obvious, right? Mm-hmm. Nope. They get it to Holmgren.
Yep. How bad those possessions were down the stretch?
Oh, they just completely meltdown,
right? It's also like, Williams is 5 of 20. It's not your night. Give it to the MVP.
Sure.
Your comeback is Joker had 42 and 22. Will he do that again? But it's an all-time choke and collapse, though. And I'd like to see the chalk get there, and I'd like to see Boston play OKC or OKC play the Cavs for the title. But that's just I can't stand choke jobs like that. And that's just that's unacceptable. What happened to be up 9 with 2:40 and you stop playing offense, you commit 2 stupid fouls, and then you're fouling. Degno after the game said that's what we do. We do it all year with 13 seconds
immediately. By the way,
it defeats the whole purpose of what you're doing.
Yeah, right. They did
do it late. Get a stop. You have the number 1 defense. The game's over then.
You can also maybe try for a steal there for a second. Like let maybe 1 or 2 seconds come off the clock. You don't have to rush over and foul and put him at the free throw line as soon as they inbounds the basketball. I thought that was maybe a little bit of a bizarre part to do with that as well. Although I still think they're going to rebound and win the series.
Well, this really makes a mess of the futures now. What it really does to the futures market is wild. The series prices and also who's going to win each conference and who's going to win it all now. Because Boston's still $3.40 to win the series, but you're never going to find a better price on the Celtics to win the East now, which is like $1.10, $1.15. And the Cavs have the biggest game of the season tonight. That might be down 3 guys.
Right. So
that's
here's
another
the thing.
one. With the future market's wide open now.
I've been kicking this around since last night with multiple people. The idea of now parlaying all three teams that lost game one to come back and win their series. Cleveland, Boston, and Oklahoma City. I'm confident enough to do that with Oklahoma City and Boston. I don't know. I'm looking at the official NBA injury report as of right now. And to your point, 3 key guys are still questionable for the Cavaliers tonight. Maybe they play. Maybe 2 guys play. Maybe 2 guys miss. I don't know. But without a combination of those 3 guys, I don't love their chances to win the game tonight. I don't care that they're 7.5-point favorites right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're going to win.
Yeah.
So I can't get there with the Cavaliers.
Yep.
We'll kick that around maybe a little bit more in 2 hours when I think we'll have a better idea of who's going to play in the game tonight.
Right. Because if they don't have Hunter, Mobley, and Garland, even if he plays compromised, not good.
Yeah.
Speaking of being compromised, and you hit it off the top. You get the big performance by Toronto. I don't know. Does Stolars play the rest of the series?
He vomited right away.
Yeah. The guy's still in the game.
Boy,
the doctors on social media were like, get him to the ER stat. Get that guy out of there. That's as bad as that's an all-time concussion, what happened. He also took a shot to the mask that knocked the mask off, too. And whether it was intentional by Bennett, I don't know. It didn't look good. But now the fact that the guy's got to be taken out in a stretcher to the ambulance, I don't even know if the guy plays the rest of the series.
And if he doesn't, I think that's kind of cooked in here. Even with the Maple Leafs winning game 1, it's basically a pick-em now.
Yeah, Wall did not give you a lot of confidence when he came in there. They had to hang on for dear life.
If you told me right now that he's going to be the goalie for the rest of the series and I could find plus money on the Panthers to win it, it would be an auto play. I think there's a pretty decent upgrade from Wall going to Stolars.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. How does he come back and play? And like anytime soon anyway, maybe back into the series if it goes 6-7 games. But next game or 2, that was vicious, man.
Yeah. Horrible job by the league, too, and the spotters. Oh, that's unfortunate. You got to see that. That guy's out of it, and he comes and pukes on the bench.
Up next, we will dive into the playoff games on the board tonight. Heavy steam, big line movement on the board. We'll tell you what it is coming up next.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, so then 4 games tonight in the playoffs, NBA combined with the NHL. Pacers playing at the Cavaliers, game 2 of this series. This number was at 10 earlier. That's obviously before the news that Garland, Hunter, and Mobley, a combination of the 3, well, they're all questionable again. We'll find out more. My guess is by 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Well, that's going to be 35 minutes before game time. That's the last official NBA injury report. We have to know by then if they're going to play or not. And so I'm looking at the screen right now. Back to 8. It was 7.5 at most spots today. Now plenty of 8s are out there. I will say this because the point spread has come crashing down because of this, the unknown status, obviously, with those 3 players. As we welcome aboard Dan Karpuk as another writer at vsin.com. I read his debut column today on player props in the NBA. He made a strong case for Donovan Mitchell over 27.5. That's why when you read this stuff early and get your bets in early, that's the best way to do it. Good job by him. And because the status of those 3 players, again, Pauly, unknowns, Mitchell now is as high as 30.5 to score tonight. But it makes sense, right?
Wow, yeah. Man, it's 1 of 11 from 3 performance in game 1. Plus, if Garland plays, you don't know with the rust factor and what he brings to the table. Are you more inclined to go over with some of these guys out or under at 229? Because it's going to be bombs away again. And the Celtics were the opposite of what Indiana did in game 1, who shot 53% from 3. And Cleveland was atrocious from 3.
It's probably a stay away. I think it's probably the right number, actually. Halliburton's prop is 18.5. Siakam about 18.5 or 19.5. And the Halliburton assist prop is also 9.5 or 10.5. Well, he went over that number in game 1, and he has a really good history going back to last year in the regular season of also clearing 10.5, but more specifically 9.5. Got to pay a little bit of juice for 9.5 against this team. And again, same team from last year, basically, both sides here. Same personnel for the most part, almost the same style of play, but he's had a really good run here against this team now. I mean,
they're so balanced, though. There's so many guys that can hurt you. And Nebhart cashed that prop in game 1 for most threes, which was like 35-1. So that's what they did against Milwaukee. And again, they got a top 5 record since January, that there's so many guys that can beat you and punish you from the outside. And that's, again, I was very concerned in that Miami series to start how bad Cleveland was defensively and lack of rebounding, which they shored up in game 3 and game 4. Did a better job. But you can't play like that defensively, and got to get out there and guard these guys. You're going to go home.
I understand the zigzag theory again after a team loses a game, come back late. I can't do it. I can't do it with these huge numbers.
You're right.
Again, the Cavaliers might win the game tonight. Doesn't mean they're going to cover now 8 points. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yep. And you're paying a tax on Minnesota, too. So, Again, OKC blew the game up 9 with 2:40. It was a horrendous spot for Denver. It's a horrendous spot for Golden State tonight as well. So, Minnesota, 6.5, 210. Do you trust them? Do you trust Draymond Green to keep his cool? That's another one, too. The history with Gobert, 5-game suspension when he put him in a headlock a couple of years ago. He also had that encounter with Nurkic, and he had to go to counseling. Then he got the Butler scenario, who was took the T-Wolves to the playoffs after a 14-year absence, and then he demanded a trade 5 months later after he came in with the backups and had that incredible performance in a scrimmage and beat everyone and walked away, and then never played for the T-Wolves again. But this would be typical Minnesota if they start with a loss. But they were great against the Lakers. They have depth. Golden State has no depth. Curry's wondering about who can I trust, who can I play, and I want to see the key to that whole series, other than the size, was what they did in the fourth quarter. The Lakers were dominated in the fourth quarter by Minnesota. So that could be a big test here in this series and starting in game 1, which they should have the edge with the longer layoff.
You read my mind on Draymond Green because I want to make the case for him to go over his rebounds and assist prop tonight, which is 11.5. I can't do it. Various reasons, foul trouble. And to me, this is going to be a testy series. Both teams might be on edge a little bit. And I think we might get some fireworks, and this guy will be the igniter. And I don't want to, I can't back his props here because something might happen. Mm-hmm. He might get tossed. Other players might get tossed. I don't know.
Sure. The whole Gobert thing, there's something right. There's something going on there that triggers him.
Yep. I'd like to tell you that Naz Reid over 1.5 threes would be a good bet. It was even money today.
Yeah.
It's moved 30 cents. So I can't get there now that it's there, and I certainly can't tell people to go out there and bet it. Again, you're betting the best numbers here available. And to me, over 1.5, it might not win, but over 1.5 even money was something that you had to bet. Now it's minus 130 in that range. So in the regular season, Naz had 15, game by game here, had 15 points and 3 threes, 16 points and 4 threes. And the 2 games before that, he did not go over his 3 prop. But I think the usage will be there, again, for him to take those shots. He likes to bury himself in the corner. And I think he'll get lost. Gary Payton's going to be, questionable tonight anyway for the game. Takes away plus defender there on that side as well. So that's one angle that I would look at it for tonight. So this point spread has been a little bit all over the map, sitting at 7 for a while, down to 6.5. Now here at Circa, most books have 6.5 still. Circa has 6 on the game.
And I respect what he did in Game 7, but that was a fluke from Buddy Hield. So he's 11-1 to have the most threes tonight.
His points prop is 9.5.
Yeah, right. So who do you trust with the others with Golden State, and then how many minutes are they going to get as well? Randall also could be big. He was great. I give him credit. After how it ended in New York, he had averaged 22 a game and shot 48% against the Lakers. So all these issues they had, chemistry, going through the motions, still 6 seed, played well down the stretch. That carried over against the Lakers. But now it's the Minnesota team that's expected to win. And now it's high as $1.80 with the series price. This is where they usually fall on their faces. The other thing, you pointed this out the other day. We got a bizarre scheduling spot here with this series. Game 5 is Wednesday, the 14th. Then Game 6 is Sunday, the 20th. Mm-hmm. Because you have the Golden State WNBA team that debuts with their first home game on Friday. Saturday, the league has the total day off, which is weird. So then you could have a possible Tuesday night Game 7, which is one unheard of. So you get 4 days off here in the back end of the series.
Only between one game, though. That's
right.
Really weird.
Yes.
Not a fan of that.
Mm-hmm. That is weird.
All right, so there's the NBA. NHL for tonight.
Let's go.
I'm going to the Golden Knights game.
All right.
So I absolutely have to have a bet on this game.
First period over. Bingo.
Okay.
No problem.
I've been doing this since the early 2000s when two buddies and I, we drove to San Francisco to go to a Packers-Niners game when Brett Favre was still like in his prime for Green Bay. Had to have bets on the game. And I did, and people sitting in my section were blown away that I came there with tickets that I showed them. Like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing of all time. And I love to have action on games that I go to. So you think first period over is the play?
Oh, yeah. All 6 went over in the Vegas series against Minnesota. Too much firepower, and I don't trust the goaltenders in this series. Aiden Hill was 14th out of 16 goalies in save percentage in the first round. We know about Edmonton's firepower. And the other thing, good write-up on NHL.com that he's weak high and glove side, again, which is rare. But high and glove side, he's had some issues as well. And I would come back, and you're paying a little juice on this, like $1.40, $1.50 in some spots. But that's the way to attack it tonight. 2-2 in the regular season. Vegas in 6 2 years ago. Also in the second round. Special teams likely to decide it, though. And as bad as the Kings or the Oilers were on the penalty kill to start, they closed strong. But Vegas had the number 2 power play during the regular season. Got to stay out of the box, and special teams could decide this one. Was not impressed, though, with how Vegas played against Minnesota. They're lucky they didn't lose.
Yeah, Minnesota's good. I get that. But so here's another bet that I'm considering for tonight. How about Evander Kane over shots on goal, 2.5 plus money, versus the Golden Knights last year in 3 games. He had 3 in every single one of them. Now, he only had 1 shot on goal twice against the Kings, but the other 3 games he had 4, 4, and 5. Mm-hmm. Can he get to 3?
Sure
Plus money?
Mm-hmm.
I might have to plunk down some change on that one.
Yep. The Kings were 8 of 20 on the power play in that series. They were 27th in the regular season on the power play. Vegas was number 2. So if the Oilers go to the box, they're going to get beat. And Vegas will make them pay.
Yeah, they will make them pay.
And I think it'll be a high-scoring series. And then Anderson said he's good to go. So that's big for Carolina. And I think this could be a low-scoring series with Carolina against Washington. Also the same thing, though, right? I mean, Carolina was perfect on the penalty kill against New Jersey, and they had the number 1 penalty kill in the regular season. And they also had a shorthanded goal against New Jersey. I think special teams could be the difference in this series, but I'm a big fan of Logan Thompson and what he did this year. Could be an under tonight.
Think about their power rating compared to Washington with the series price and the Game 1 number.
Yeah.
I mean, Carolina is pretty much power rated to the moon.
Yep, and also throwing out the regular season, like we'll get into tomorrow with Winnipeg and Dallas.
Right.
That these teams have home ice, and they're still the dogs. Smarter bets start here. Last all year long with VSiN Pro. We're slashing the price of our annual subscription, normally $240, now just $199. You get 2 extra months for free. Sign up today. It's 14 months, less than 50 cents a day. Code PRO. Every best bet, every host, every guest, the morning email from Bill 80, the betting splits from DK and Circa, the 24/7 live video, the special edition betting guides, VSiN.com/subscribe, code PRO, 14 months, 50 cents a day, VSiN.com/subscribe.
Up next, professional sports bettor Erin Rynning is going to join the program. We'll get his reaction to the games from last night. Upsets galore. And does he like the losing teams to bounce back in Game 2? And where is his money going to be at tonight in the NBA? We'll ask him coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
High drama last night, NBA and the NHL playoffs, and professional sports bettor Erin Rynning joins the program now as he is on the progressive guest line. He is big into the association. Erin, thanks for the time as always. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on, and always better to come talk about. We get some underdogs and some just different things happening. We're not quite used to with the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, well said. Last night was absolutely bonkers. So then where are you at today after both home favorites blew those games last night, and they're each laying 11 points now in Game 2?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of that zigzag at work. And, as I kind of mentioned, traditionally, you get these home favorites in the first game of a series, a decent favorite by about 7 or more. And if they get beat that second game, they've come back and traditionally crushed in recent history. So that's why you're seeing all that play. Obviously, what's expected to be the superior team in those two. But, with the Knicks, it's, the first thing I thought about the Knicks is, against Detroit, they just don't have a lot of athleticism outside Anunoby. But, boy, you could see the skill in the shot making. And, for Denver, they're going to have the best player on the floor.
Can he get 42 and 22 again? That's the other thing. Although you were waiting for him to foul out as well. I think a big part about this is how are they going to officiate him moving forward?
It was. I mean, it was a little bit bizarre last night. You saw, maybe some fouls go not in Oklahoma City's way in their half court, and then you had those crazy fouls 3/4 court away from the basket.
Yeah.
Against Oklahoma City that really cost them. But yeah, I mean. For the Celtics to have a 20-point lead and obviously the Thunder a 14-point lead, I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no kidding. ER, you've talked about this before, betting a team around the world, which means like first quarter, first half for the game. Would that be a consideration with these home favorites in Game 2?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's they kind of changed the number a little bit, and they've done obviously a very good job of kind of putting that in play. I mean, with the Thunder, 11 in the game, 7 in the first half, et cetera, kind of how it is. But, hey, look, traditionally that's the way it is. I mean, Oklahoma City certainly one of the stronger home courts, and it's very much a kind of a home court series. So, but, that's I have to say that again about the Thunder, and that's always the question here. We know it's a great regular season team, but, hey, guys, I was at T-Mobile when they played the Bucks out here in the championship midseason tournament.
Yeah.
Super impressed with the Thunder defensively. But again, it's just Giannis was the best player on the court that night. And, maybe we'll see that this series with Joker.
That's a fair point. And I hate to do cliches, but they don't know how to win yet. And until they can win that big game and that big series, you have to question them. And that implosion up 9 with 2:40 absolutely cannot happen. So it's worked for the first time in like 20 years. It's been very good in the playoffs. Would you back the zigzag tonight?
I did. I mean, I'll be on Cleveland here to some extent. I also I did kind of bet them. It's certainly not the best number here all along, but I've really liked this Cleveland team all season long. I thought the Atkinson hire was great. I think they've been prepping and they've been trying different stuff in the regular season, zone defense. It's just a lot of different things to be ready here. Obviously, the injuries are pretty massive concerns, especially with Mobley. I don't think they miss Garland quite as much, but Mobley's obviously a big factor. But I would expect Cleveland to come out. I expect them to get the spread cover, yeah.
Okay, so if we get news here in the next hour or so that let's say all three guys are going to play, the point spread goes back up, are you going to be betting Cleveland again?
Yeah, I mean, again, just kind of taking a little bit of the best number. And yeah, you don't know. It doesn't sound that promising, to be honest. These guys are certainly all three going to play. So, yeah, it seems like maybe you're better off waiting.
Okay, how about the other game then? Game 1. And it's funny the way that this is flipped now, because when you just look at a place like ESPN, they had a bunch of their experts, quote unquote, online pick. Everybody picked the Lakers against the Wolves to win the series, and most of them picked them in 5 or 6 games. Did not go that way. It was almost domination there by the Wolves. And now they have home court here against the Warriors with all their pedigree, but yet everybody at ESPN is picking Minnesota to win this series. It's a complete flip-flop of what it was in the first series. What do you make all that?
Oh, I mean, it's really fascinating that, so many picked the Lakers, and I thought the Lakers wouldn't have that much of an issue as well. I didn't make them a $2 favorite, but I thought they would go on and win the series. But you can see it's always just hard for a team to essentially obtain their best player at the All-Star break and go on and have a great season. It's hard to do that anyway. But yeah, so it's just such a bad spot here for Golden State in Game 1. Obviously, a little bit tougher than Denver had with the game in Houston, which was a slugfest of a series. So, a couple interesting things with this series. Minnesota, will they be able to overwhelm the Warriors from a athletic standpoint? That's always this Gobert question. We saw Houston have success with the double bigs, a little bit of that zone defense.
Right.
So, again, hard to recommend Minnesota at a 2-1 favorite at this point. I do like them and bet them in game one, but I expect another hard-fought close series.
Do you know anyone with big tickets to win the conference on Minnesota? And do you know anyone who jumped in on Denver after they fired Malone, which I thought was a mistake, but apparently he lost a locker room, and there were some big odds available on Denver.
Oh, Mitch Moss is the only one that I know with a big Minnesota future ticket, but I did hear some guys, maybe more so doing sports betting in Denver when the coach was fired, that they stepped in at 55, 60 to 1, something like that on the Nuggets, which, obviously looking back, and, it's still a large part of their championship team. I mean, it's kind of that big four that they still have, the best player in the NBA. So, yeah, certainly a puncher's chance with that team.
Okay. How about any updated series prices now? After 3 series, have 1 game in the books. Did anything catch your eye now? Do you want to come back and maybe fire on some of these favorites to win in 6 games or lay a game and a half or anything like that?
Interesting. I was actually just kind of pondering that before I came on the show with you guys. So, yeah, thinking about it, I'm certainly interested in the Cavaliers tonight, certainly $2 or less. Again, kind of see what the injury situation here, if it's bleak or not. But so I think the Cleveland at, less than $2, still hard to lay, $3 on the Celtics or the Thunder for me.
Well, you're a Bucks guy from the state like I am. And I can hear you almost laughing in the background already. If they actually kick the can on trading Giannis, have you thought about it yet? What would you need in return if they got rid of that guy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a shame, but it seems like push is maybe coming to shove here. I mean, to be bluntly honest, I can't believe that they re-signed their GM to let him make any kind of decision. That guy has done one of the worst jobs I've ever seen. But I think it'll be interesting if he would, maybe New York has the firepower, but you hear maybe Oklahoma City or San Antonio. I mean, just who knows at this point? But yeah, it's going to be a lot of talk for sure.
Alrighty, R. Pleasure talking to you as always. Yeah. Good luck tonight. Enjoy the games.
Hey, same to you. Good to be on with you guys. Thanks.
Yep. Great to talk to you.
There you go.
That is wild, those tickets on Denver. I thought they lost their minds. It didn't work out for Memphis, but to fire your coach with a week left in the season, big tickets out there, big odds available on Denver. Who knows? Maybe OKC takes them out in 6, but choke job as well. But when you have the best player, anything's possible. You're not going to get a better price on the Celtics to win the title or the East, assuming the Cavs win tonight. I mean, that's to get plus 210 to win the title now, or $1.15 to win the East. So that's staring you in the face after they blow a 20-point lead.
I need to know which team's going to show up. Again, if they shoot 53s a game, I want nothing to do with them.
Take it seriously. They do much of that for 3 years. They just, I don't know what it is. And it's just the people who cover the team and the fans just can't believe it. They go up 20. I've never seen a team that good blow that many big leads on a consistent basis.
Yep. So Tatum and Brown are so freaking good at playing basketball when they don't take threes. That's the last thing I want them to do. And what they do last night, Brown was 1 of 10 or 1 of 11, and Tatum was 4 of 15.
And his only make was late, Brown. That's right.
Oh, they keep settling for that crap. Guys, you're so much better than that.
That's why you have White and Horford. That's all they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just attack the basket. Good things will happen. Especially when you're going to take a contested shot, a step back, and you don't even have any room.
And again, Tatum went to the free throw line 10-plus times in the last 3 games against the Magic. Be that guy.
Yeah. Who's breaking that record? Who's gonna miss 45 threes again?
They might tonight or tomorrow night, whenever they play again next.
Oh, God. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today. Stay connected to the action wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app. Available on your phone, tablet, smart TV. 24/7 live access to the audio and video streams. Replays of your favorite shows. Big screen streaming straight to your smart TV. Quick access to clips by sport tailored to your interest. Watch VSiN anywhere. Download the app today. Get now with the VSiN Watch app.
All right, up next, win some, lose some. Pauly will tell you about a slew of huge numbers that cashed last night. That's next on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
All right, here we go. Again, you have to take advantage of these game leaders and series leaders. Series in, series out, night in, night out. Available at most spots. Knicks plus 330 won the game. 25-1 in play. Overtime was 10-1. Most points, OG 30-1. Dead heat with Brunson though. Most threes, OG 8-1. Denver 4-1 money line. $100 money line parlay on the 3 dogs so far. Paid $8,500. Caruso most threes 20-1. Most points Joker plus 230. Most assists, SGA plus 450. You mentioned he was 55-1 to get a triple-double. He almost did.
Yeah, and guess what? As a result, he's 16-1 tomorrow night.
Wow. Good call. Why get him the ball late?
I can't believe it.
Chet
I honestly
Holmgren?
can't.
Oh,
Nobody else on the team. Get it to SGA.
Another one. I mean, I don't know what the guy did. Where did he go? Minnetonka or whatever? Is Chet Holmgren won a big game in his life? I mean, that's another one. Damn. You guys can't lose games like this. Come on. Atkinson, Coach of the Year, 18-1. Wow.
His odds moved quickly, by the way. Remember that?
The winning streak to start.
Yeah.
I mean, bye-bye. Interesting, he said he learned a lot when he was let go from the Nets, which is a horrible decision by the Nets. Nylander, first goal, 14-1. Told you, what about Bob? You could beat him in the 5-hole. Couple softies through the 5-hole. Bob was off last night. 2 goals, 16-1. Home teams in the NHL, 32-15. Overs are 30-17. Alonzo, Carroll home run parlay, 14-1. Alonzo is on fire. The numbers he's putting up, you got to come right back with his total bases over tonight. He went deep early on.
Would you look at him for MVP?
Absolutely. He's leading all these categories.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
I can't say Judge. We ever seen this before? Judge is like 1,000?
Think about this for a second.
He's 1,000?
In May. When I remember a couple years ago, I bet Ohtani when he was 1,000. That was when he was pitching and hitting. I think that was in August.
Yeah. Incredible. Freeman was 8-1 to go deep. Get right back on Freeman props today as well.
Oh, and he owns Quantrill too.
Yes, he does. Incredible numbers on Quantrill. That's a 10-11 game hitting streak. Yep. Dodgers, they lost Hernandez though too in the win. Dodgers $2 up to $240. That was easy. No problem there. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in, we'll put you on. Here we go again with This Is So Good with the dogs on the skateboard. Going right down the steps. No problem. Hop on it. Piece of cake. I do this every Tuesday. Yeah, what of it? Look at everyone checking it out. Like, is this real? Is this candid camera? Look at it. No problem. Filming it the whole way down. Calm, cool, and collected.
I guess it makes sense for a dog, right? Low center of gravity. A human being would get flipped over like a normal human being would be on their head in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Well, some of these, who knows? I saw one on a jet ski the other. Who knows what's AI and what's not? But I just look at him. Oh, yeah, I love. That's great. I love the bulldog. The bulldog we showed last week where he's barking. Give me the skateboard. I want to go on and go for a ride. A couple lose some. This is bad. This is rough for the sport. Soventry's out of the Preakness. How about the trainer? Well, we don't think about the Triple Crown. We're not something we don't think about. You don't think about it. What kind of a comment is that? This is the 4th time. Here's the bigger issue. This is the 4th time since 2018 that the Preakness will go on without a true shot at a Triple Crown. The 2-week turnaround from the Derby to the Preakness and changes in modern racing have sparked debate around the sport about spacing out the races. They're going to have to. This keeps happening. How many times are they going to race? The Derby winner going to race in the Preakness?
So that's the only reason, right? There's no injury. There's no concern about the horse.
We want to do what's best for the horse was the quote.
It's just, Triple Crown, not that big of a deal to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not going to think about it. We're not going to think about it.
I'll tell you what, in a sport that, obviously it could take as many young people as possible to help it, continue to... The Derby's obviously very popular. Other than that, not so much. You don't want to do something like that.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I'll put this under lose some, but it is a win some. Paul Bovey was in studio yesterday. He has a photographic memory. He's rattling off all these percentages from threes and stats, and he sees it once, bam, got it. So Chris Massero sent in a tweet. He was entering his credit card on his computer to buy something once, and Bovey looked at it, and like 20 minutes after seeing it once, and like 20 minutes later, Bovey gave him all 16 numbers, the expiration date, and the CVC code. How dangerous is that guy? That's it. He's got it. It's tattooed in his brain. He saw the credit card one time. It's like, okay, it's up here. I got it for good now.
I know. The guy's in his 60s.
Right.
He's been on this show again a handful of times in studio. He's been on other shows. And for people in the radio audience not watching, he doesn't break out his phone. There's no computer. He doesn't have any paper with notes on it. Everything is up here. And the first time he did it, he's like rattling off all these stats from an NFL game that happened 3 weeks ago. I'm like,
yeah.
Did you just look before you came in, or how do you know this stuff?
Yeah.
I see it once now, and I forget about it 8 seconds later.
Yeah, it's incredible. He is something. Bad for the books. Did you see how about this? The Knicks game opened 2-12.5 and closed 2-13.5 and fell 2-13?
In overtime.
In overtime, yep. And 2 bad beats. The Celtic game under, if you got the 2-12.5. Whoa. How that goes over because of overtime. And hello, I told you in play, it's how the way to attack it. Williams at it again. 3-0 Yankees in the 8th. Williams comes in and blows it. He has an ERA of 10. You have Williams against the number 1 bullpen in the league. And San Diego gets a 4 spot and they win 4-3. It's like I felt bad they even brought Weaver in that spot to try to clean up the mess. Williams, he brings Weaver in with the bases loaded. No margin for error.
Yep.
How bad? What's that guy's deal? You can't trot him out there in any situation.
Well, I remember what happened last year in the playoffs.
Man, maybe that's carried over.
For the Brewers, and maybe the guy shot. It's amazing to me how relievers can lose it like this overnight.
Yeah.
That's why Rivera was so special.
Yeah. Profit X offering the best odds all baseball season long. Peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40-plus states, the first of its kind in the U.S. You'll be able to make your sports picks against other groups of fans rather than against books. Exchanges guarantee you the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. You can even request your own odds. Download Profit X today, code VSiN. Earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month. Get it today. Get your cash. Code VSiN. Profit X.
A couple of things from last night. Are you buying what happened with Alex Caruso overall? So I got some numbers for game 2 now.
I would like to see him get more looks as opposed to Williams taking 20 shots when he doesn't have it. And I do not want Chet Holmgren shooting threes in crunch time.
Yeah, neither do I. I think Caruso is going to get the minutes. Now, his points prop, I think it was 6.5 yesterday. It's up to 8.5. Over is even money. His made 3-point prop is 1.5. Overs, plus money. If you think he can get to 3, he's sitting at about plus 340 to hit 3 threes again. Would you consider a mini ladder with him? I think he's going to have to be one of the key guys. Because he have 5 steals last night?
Yeah.
The guy's awesome defensively.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be one of the guys that they're going to have to rely on, and they will trust him to get out there and play plenty of minutes off the bench. Also for Denver, again, if they get another game like that from Michael Porter, you can't play 24 minutes, be minus 15 in the plus minus, and have 2 points overall, and beat the Thunder. We have a crazy soccer game going on right now, by the way.
Inter Milan led 2-0. Then Barcelona took the lead, and someone just scored in the 93rd minute.
Now they're knotted up at 3 apiece.
It's 6-6 aggregate, and Nigel loved the over. Okay, we've had back-to-back 3-3 matches.
Is this one of the games that Nigel called a 3-3 detector?
I don't think this one he did.
Okay.
He loved it over. I think that was last weekend with the soccer, the final matches.
There's a small group of guys right behind us, by the way, specifically in Circuit today to watch this game, and it's on plenty of the big screens. They've been going nuts since goal number 1. Every time the reaction.
How about the swings? Up 2-0? Down 3-2. Now they just tie it aggregate. Look, we can put the bed to bed about the top 5 center of all time. Again, Russell or Joker, come on, Shaq, get out of here. Guy was a liability. Joker's just 42 and 22 without breaking a sweat. I love the guy, but they can't let him. You can't. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know.
You can't sit here
saying.
and dribble and just take your off arm and push people out of the way. That's a foul. You can't do that.
That was a completely vicious and purposeful elbow that he did to Lou Dort's back of the head.
I know. That too.
He tried to knock him out of the game.
Yeah, and he also should have fouled out. But it's like, if you're going to let the guy who's that big come in and put his shoulder down into you guy to create room and space, he's good enough. He doesn't need that break. But I think that's going to be big. They're going to officiate that, and certainly he's going to dominate if they're going to allow him to get away with that.
So what's the defensive plan then? Because Chet's really, really skinny and frail.
Yeah.
Does it have to be just a healthy dose of Hartenstein? Do you trust Williams to be on him?
When he was in foul trouble too. I know. It's tough. He's unguardable when he's doing stuff like that. Can't let him do that.
Russ played another good game overall. And by the way, he made the right decision to pass to Gordon. which surprised me. I thought he was going to take it to the rack.
So did I. He knew he was going to miss the layup.
And then Gordon basically said after the game, I knew that it was not a miss when he put it up.
Yeah.
That guy's been awesome.
No one was back either. Oh, that whole sequence was so bad.
I know.
Terrible.
All right, up next, we'll go over betting strategy on the PGA Tour. Jeff Seeley. It's a loaded field this week, including Masters champ Rory McIlroy. Jeff has been explaining a market you have to look at on a weekly basis, and it paid off for a friend of mine last week. I'll tell you what it was coming up next.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.